Hi, I'm Parker Miley.
And I'm Tim Benjamin.
And this is the Rage Podcast, where today we're going to talk about who are these Christians they have in these movies. Okay? So, over the weekend, I was granted the disprivilege of being able to watch this TV show, movie, series. It was on Netflix. And it's that time of season where in a lot of these movies that pop up, like Halloween, you'll get the crazy priest. Or in like the Christmas movies, Hallmark movies, you'll get the preacher who's just smiling in the background, marrying a couple, And where in media how are we portrayed like that?
Yeah.
Where did this happen?
Yeah. Well, it got to the point, and I'm going to admit, I haven't watched network TV in years. But it got to the point, back, 10, 15 years ago when I actually had cable, you'd be watching a TV show, and if there was a priest or a rabbi or a minister that was introduced, I was like, well, you might as well quit watching it. They did it.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, because that was always the villain. And I thought, I haven't murdered anybody. I don't know.
I mean, it's Halloween time, and so all these big movies will come out, and look at majority of Halloween movies. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's always the crazy pastor, or religious figure or something.
Yeah. I think the movie that I've seen that recently that's come out, I've not seen it, but I just remember the promotional material of it was that horror movie called The Nun.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's accurately portraying us. Again, I've never seen the movie. Maybe I'm wrong, but from the way the commercial went, just judging on that, it didn't look especially positive. So,
but and even to go as far as past the Halloween movies, any time they just bring one of these religion, and they're always, it's never it's always a person dressed to the to fit this
with the robes
basic
and all this
character,
stuff,
and all that jazz. And I'm like, is that really how we're going to be portrayed to the world? Is that the worldly people, or the people who aren't necessarily in the church or know what's going on? Is that what they think we're doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the goofy end of it. There's actually a very mean end to it too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if any of you watched Dave Chappelle's new special that came out on Netflix in the last week or week and a half, and there's a whole bit he does about ministers, and I'll tell you what, it ain't anywhere close to positive. And and Dave Chappelle, I have respect for him in that he talks about controversial issues, but he really laid into ministers in his diatribe. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes, no, I don't feel like, I see it happen, that when it comes to the church, everybody wants to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And yes, there are bad things happening. Yes, there are bad things that have happened. Yes, there are probably bad things happening now in some churches. There are some ministers, priests, and rabbis out there who have done terrible things. Parker and I are certainly not denying that. But at the same time, once in a while, it'd be nice to see the positive end come out,
I mean, and I look at the representation in St. Mary's.
Yeah.
We have a lot. A lot of ministers, because we have a lot of churches.
Yes.
We have a lot of churches.
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore probably a lot of ministers, and that I know of, they're not summoning demons in the basement, or they're not.
I don't know, Tim Smith. I don't know. Now we love Tim Smith at the Nazarene Church.
But it's just, and if that's here how it is here, where did this idea? It's just so bizarre to me. Why has it been?
Well, I think
because your representation of it's all about hate.
Oh yeah, it's hate.
It's all about hate.
Yeah.
So, but why? When did it spark up? And just where did it come from?
Okay, I think where it originally came from. I think originally, and I'm going way back to before you were born, back into the '80s. I think originally, in having the priest or the minister to be the bad guy, I think that was oh my gosh, it was a shocking thing, because no one ever expected that.
Yeah.
So something that was shocking, and everybody's like, well, ministers don't murder people. I mean, because by and large we don't. But so back then it was like, well, we're going to make this character in this TV show be the villain because no one would ever suspect them. Well, that has evolved now to where as soon as that person with the robe or the collar or as the pastor of the church shows up, you know immediately who the villain is going to be. Mm-hmm. They're going to be the bigot. They're going to be the killer. They're going to be the whatever. And I'm just going, wow. Now, if you would have something where there was a minister in it and he was a good guy, then you'd be like, oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, what?
Wait, he didn't murder a bunch of people? I can't believe it. And so now, you know, all of us who are in this job and going, you know, I've made it 46 years and 0 murders, you know, yay me, I guess, but I just feel like it's not shocking anymore because that's all it is.
So we have that part, but like there's so much more, and like let's look at some other films or how we're represented in like that kind of like entertainment world.
Okay.
First off, Christian movies, we don't make good ones.
Oh my gosh,
they're horrible.
Bad.
They're horrible,
bad.
And I honestly think some of them do more damage than good.
Yes.
Because it's like
I think Satan is making those movies.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's like it's just so cringy.
You
it's
can
horrible.
die of cringe watching some of this stuff. Yes.
Christians, when you use like a Christian like whatever movie, it's like supposedly made by Christians and all this stuff. It is cringy.
Yeah.
And it almost, I proposed the idea to Tim that we do something where it's just like rage over some of these movies that have happened.
We may come back and do that and make fun of some of these movies. We've been talking about that for a while. We haven't done it yet. Honestly, I think because it's beneath us, because it's too easy. But that's where we are.
They are just so misrepresentation. Like it's just the basic like. Oh, this person tried taking away my religious freedom, and then they throw this big scene, and they're praying to God, don't let them discriminate me.
And the worst part of it, though, are the villains. The villains are so cartoonish, they might as well have a mustache they're twirling the whole time, you know?
It's just, that's another part that just popped me. I was like, I forgot how much I hated Christian movies.
Yes. Any of you who don't watch Christian movies, just know that's entirely fine with us. You're not
missing out on anything.
I will say, though, there are a few good ones. And in fact, I just ordered one on eBay last week. It's funny, we're talking about this today. There was an old movie back from the 90s called Leap of Faith. It was starring Steve Martin. And in this movie, he is this sleazy, awful, terrible televangelist.
Oh,
You would like it, yeah. So he's just this complete ball of crud, and he's traveling with this thing, and they're basically extorting money out of people. They're every bad scenario of televangelists you can think of. But what happens at one of these revivals, and this isn't really a spoiler, is they come into this town, they set the tent, and they're getting ready to do this. And they're up in the front, and they've got all these people planted with all these different ailments that are going to get healed, even though they're in on it. Well, finally, the town says, no, we want you to heal this little boy in the wheelchair. And they push him up to the front, and the whole time Steve Martin's going, guys, what's going on here? You know, we got to stop this. So they get to the front, and the whole town is praying and all that stuff. Well, the little boy gets healed. And he goes into a crisis of faith now. I've got to get out of this. So it's actually a very interesting movie. I've not seen it for 30 years. But those kind of movies are pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's got a great message about how he turns his life around based on this experience of this thing that happened that he could not explain.
Oh, yeah, there are some good movies.
Yeah, there are some good ones.
But it is slim to few.
And most of them that are good aren't billed as Christian movies.
No.
Yeah. Some of the ones out there, I don't want to say them because it's probably going to hit your favorite movie and we're going to get hate comments.
I know, and then we're...
But just know if it's set up as a Christian movie, it probably is not worth your time.
Well, and then so this
go watch a Halloween movie where somebody gets hacked up. You might be better off.
And then like Christianity has blessed the world with with wonderful music. Okay?
Yes.
We
invented the concept.
Phenomenal music.
Yes.
And another part of it is in this TV show or movie that I watched over the weekend.
Yeah.
They had a lot of like hymns. And so obviously a hymn is being played. One of my favorites, "Nearer My God to Thee."
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my favorites. And of course, as that hymn's coming over in the background, it's the priest, cutting off someone's head, and it's like I was like,
"What, Parker? What were you watching?"
I was like, "This is just like, what is going on?"
We here at the Rage Podcast say we're not endorsing whatever movie he's talking about.
Yes, But I was like, like Halloween horror movies and everything. It's like, oh, the scary priest. Yeah. But I was like, man, I really like some of these songs. Like they're the kinds of ones that give you chills, when you hear them. And it's just like I want to know. And why is it still allowed to happen? And especially in the society we live in.
Yeah.
Because we're the punching bag.
Yeah.
Think about doing this with any other group. Okay, any other group. Where would that fly?
It would, and And people could say, it's all about how the church has had free reign for so long. And look, that may or may not be the case, but during my lifetime, that's not been the case. I'm 46. There was a time when the church was a powerhouse and you didn't cross the church. And I'm sure that's true, but that's not today. And, look, we can take it. It's not that. I'll tell you, some of the people out there who make fun of churches, I got to tell you, I laugh at some of that stuff because some of it's pretty funny. But at the end of the day, that's our reputation, though. That's what we become. It's not a deconstruction of it. It's openly making fun of it and belittling it. And that's the problem, is that we now have no relevance because we have been, all of our power, power is the wrong word, all of our authority has been taken away because all we ever get is deconstructed anymore.
So, and it holds more of a entertainment. So, the TV shows, the music you listen to, all that stuff, has such a crucial role in our society. Okay?
Absolutely.
So when all you're seeing is this negative, make fun of, and all these other things, then and I think that is actually a serious problem that we have. That we are facing.
Going back to somebody that Parker's a big fan of, Alex Jones.
Say my name.
If you think Alex Jones, though, he may have a point on some of the conspiracy stuff, but he's done it in such a way and been made fun of so much, he doesn't have any credibility.
No, yeah.
Even though they go back and say, well, look at all the stuff he was right about, and we're like, oh dear. But at the end of the day, he has been so made fun of that he's not taken seriously anymore. And I'm afraid that's where the church is heading. And we got the Westboro Baptist Church, the worst organization ever invented, and that's what people think of when they think of us. And I'll tell you what, that place don't represent me, and never will. But I think that because of how much we have been belittled and made fun of, we don't have any authority to speak to anything anymore, and that's our fault. That's the church's fault that we haven't stood up on some of these issues that we should have made a stand on. That we should have came out and said, this stuff is wrong and we shouldn't be doing this to kids and we should not be teaching this to kids. And the Capital C Church didn't do that. And I think because of that, between the messaging that we've been talking about here and the fact that we haven't made a meaningful statement about anything, we do everything to make sure we offend no one, which is impossible.
Especially in the UMC.
We try to be politically correct, and that's just a recipe for pleasing no one.
It's just, So. I really, now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, how much damage has this done? How much damage has the entertainment industry being able to make a quick buck off making fun of the church?
Yeah. Well, how much damage has the entertainment industry as a whole done? I mean, we can go on in a lot of different directions.
But
particularly in the reputation of the church, it has not been helpful, and that's really too bad, because. We have, the expression throwing the baby out with the bathwater is exactly what's happened here. But by commenting on it and having commentary about it and deconstructing it and stuff, we've taken all of the meaning out of it, and that's really a loss for society. Even people who aren't necessarily churchgoers, and I see this a lot, because I do a lot of funerals for people who don't have any church affiliation, so I get to meet families at very bad moments. And I see when I walk into that room and the way they speak to me, even though they don't even know who I am. They just know I'm the pastor, that's it. So it's not me personally, it's the position I hold. I see what a comfort that is to be able to speak with families in moments like that. Because the authority that they allow me. Now they could tell me, they could blow me off or whatever, and I've had families who are like, look, just 5 minutes and get us out the door. But I've had many families who are, really hurting and really want to talk about things and ask questions and put together services and things. I wouldn't be able to do that, though, without the authority that family allows me to step into their situation. So there are so many situations like that the church could do some good if we had authority to step into a situation. But we have had the legs cut out from underneath us in doing that kind of stuff, and it's really, really, society is suffering for it. So I guess what I would like for you to take from this episode is just to think about how we are portrayed versus how you experience us. And do they match up? Because I'm betting, given how many people I haven't murdered, probably not very well. So and don't allow the world's, lenses they put over your eyes when they look at us. Don't allow that stuff to influence how you think about the church, because there's going to come a time, if it's not here now, there's going to come a time you're going to need the authority of the church to speak to a situation, and we're not going to have it if you don't give it to us. So just a little something to think about as far as how you don't want to wait till you get to the crisis before you start interacting with the church. So, yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. No,
Yeah.
you put it well.
All right. Well, guys, don't believe what they say about us. If you don't know the church, if you're watching this and you're not a church person, please don't believe what the media is telling you about us. Yeah, we have our problems. Yeah, there are bad players out there. But the vast majority of us are good, and we want to be able to share that with you. And we hope you'll give us a chance to do so. So, thanks for tuning in to this week's broadcast, and have a great week, everybody.